Alcohol is one of the most widely consumed substances in the world. It is present in social gatherings, cultural traditions, and everyday routines. For many, it is seen as harmless in moderation. But scientific evidence increasingly suggests that long-term alcohol use carries serious health risks, including cancer. In recent years, doctors and researchers have observed a concerning rise in rectal cancer, particularly among younger adults. This documentary examines a growing body of research linking long-term alcohol consumption to a sharp increase in rectal cancer risk, and what that means for individuals, families, and public health. Rectal cancer is a form of colorectal cancer that develops in the final section of the large intestine. For decades, it was most commonly diagnosed in older adults. But recent data shows a steady increase in cases among people under the age of 50. Health systems across North America and other regions report more early-onset diagnoses, more advanced disease at detection, a growing burden on younger patients and families. This trend has raised urgent scientific questions. Why are rectal cancer rates rising? Are lifestyle changes contributing? And could alcohol be a significant factor? Heavy drinking raises rectal cancer risk. Lifetime heavy drinking significantly raises the risk of colorectal cancer, with rectal cancer showing the largest increase. Encouragingly, people who stop drinking may see their cancer risk fall closer to that of light drinkers. Credit Shutterstock. Past research has shown that drinking alcohol is linked to a higher chance of developing colorectal cancer. New evidence now shows that the total amount of alcohol consumed over a person's lifetime also plays an important role. Higher lifetime intake is tied to greater cancer risk, with rectal cancer showing the strongest association. The study also suggests that stopping alcohol use may help reduce this risk. These findings were published online by Wiley & Cancer, a peer-reviewed journal of the American Cancer Society. Researchers analyzed health data from U.S. adults who participated in the National Cancer Institute (NCI) prostate, lung, colorectal, and ovarian (PLCO) cancer screening trial and were cancer-free when the study began. During 20 years of follow-up, colorectal cancer was diagnosed in 1,679 of the 88,092 participants. Alcohol is classified by major health organizations as a Group 1 carcinogen, a category reserved for substances with clear evidence of cancer-causing potential. When alcohol is metabolized in the body, it converts into acetaldehyde, a toxic compound known to damage DNA, interfere with cellular repair, promote tumor-forming mutations. Alcohol also contributes to chronic inflammation, disruption of gut bacteria, increased intestinal permeability, weakened immune surveillance. These biological effects can create conditions in which cancer is more likely to develop. The digestive tract, including the rectum, is directly exposed to these harmful byproducts over time. Large population studies have found a clear association between long-term alcohol use and rectal cancer risk. Researchers have observed higher lifetime alcohol intake increases cancer risk. Regular or heavy drinking significantly elevates vulnerability. Longer duration of drinking leads to greater cumulative damage. Alcohol's effects intensify when combined with smoking, obesity, or poor diet. Importantly, risk does not apply only to extreme alcohol use. Even moderate long-term consumption has been linked to measurable increases in rectal cancer incidence. This suggests the risk builds slowly, not through sudden harm, but through years or decades of repeated biological stress. Among current drinkers, those with an average lifetime intake of greater than or equal to 14 drinks per week were classified as heavy drinkers. Compared with people who average 1 drink per week over their lifetime, heavy drinkers had a 25% higher risk of colorectal cancer. Their risk of rectal cancer was even greater, nearly doubling with a 95% increase. When researchers examined drinking habits across adulthood, They found that people who drank heavily for many years had a 91% higher risk of colorectal cancer than those who consistently drank small amounts. Former drinkers, however, did not show an increased risk of colorectal cancer. They also had lower odds of developing non-cancerous colorectal tumors, known as adenomas, which may go on to become cancerous, compared with current drinkers who average 1 drink per week. These results point to a possible benefit of alcohol cessation, although the researchers noted that data for former drinkers were limited. The rectum plays a unique role in digestion and waste processing. Its tissue renews rapidly, interacts closely with gut microbes, is exposed to concentrated metabolic byproduct. Alcohol can disrupt this environment by altering microbial balance, increasing exposure to carcinogenic compounds, promoting persistent low-grade inflammation, reducing the body's ability to eliminate abnormal cells. Over time, this can increase the likelihood that damaged cells survive, multiply, and eventually form tumors. Because rectal cancer can develop without noticeable symptoms in early stages, diagnosis often occurs after the disease has progressed. One of the most troubling aspects of the current trend is the rising number of younger adults diagnosed with rectal cancer. Many patients report no genetic predisposition. Instead, researchers are increasingly examining long-term lifestyle exposure, including alcohol consumption that begins earlier in life. Earlier drinking patterns mean longer lifetime exposure, greater cumulative tissue damage, earlier onset of disease. This shift suggests that cancer risk is not only about how much alcohol is consumed, but for how long. A diagnosis of rectal cancer often brings complex surgeries, chemotherapy or radiation, long recovery periods, emotional strain on families, long-term health consequences. For younger patients, the impact can affect careers, finances, fertility, and long-term quality of life. Public health experts note that while alcohol risks are often associated with addiction or liver disease, its role in cancer is less widely understood. Greater awareness could lead to earlier screening, reduced alcohol consumption, more informed lifestyle decisions, preventable reductions in cancer cases. Part 7. Prevention and Public Health Awareness, 1320 to 1440. Reducing alcohol intake has been shown to lower overall cancer risk. Medical experts recommend limiting alcohol consumption, recognizing early digestive symptoms, participating in screening when eligible, supporting broader public education about alcohol-related cancer risk. Cancer is influenced by many factors, but long-term exposure to known carcinogens is one of the few risks people can actively reduce. Prevention does not require fear. It requires knowledge, awareness, and informed choice. Alcohol has long been part of social culture and tradition, but as scientific understanding evolves, so must public awareness. The connection between long-term alcohol use and rectal cancer highlights a broader truth. Some health risks unfold slowly, quietly, and over time. The question is no longer whether alcohol carries long-term consequences, but how society chooses to respond to what science is revealing.